Today we were in Eastport, Maine. It was Princess Cruises' first stop in Eastport, Maine. So we've got to talk about that, but I'm going to bring you up to date on what is going on in Sitka, Alaska, as well as in Santorini, Greece. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Tuesday, it is September 3rd of 2024. We are having an amazing time here on the beautiful Enchanted Princess. We sailed away out of New York, you can see that, but our sail away out of Boston last night was absolutely spectacular. So if you haven't seen that video yet, you're going to want to find it and watch it and come along with us. Now, if you've got questions about how things are going or specific questions about the Enchanted Princess, drop them in the comments and let me know. So let's start at the very top here with what's going on in Sitka, Alaska. So Sitka gets a lot of their internet service from an underwater fiber cable that has now been damaged, and that happened about a week ago. And so the people who live in Sitka, Alaska are going to be very limited with their internet access for now. The local library has Starlink that the people who live in the town and visiting guests can use for their internet as needed, but apparently a repair ship is on the way to be able to repair the fiber cable, and it'll take about 6 days to repair it once the ship finally arrives. And so this is a situation that's going to continue for a little while. I let you know this so that if you are going to be going on a cruise to Sitka, Alaska, you'll be aware of the internet situation there and know that, I know that a lot of times there are people that go on cruises to Alaska that rely on the ability to use Wi-Fi in all of the ports to be able to access their email, communicate with family during that time or work, whatever it is. Just know that when you go on a cruise and it includes Sitka, you won't be able to do it there, so do it in the other ports, or if you don't usually get a Wi-Fi package, this might be a good time to get a Wi-Fi package. So if you hear anything else about that, let me know, but hopefully they'll be able to get that repaired sooner than later, for especially everyone who lives there in Sitka. So we need to talk about Santorini, Greece next. This is huge, and the reason that it's huge is the way that they are going about this. I have told you in the past that Santorini wants to limit the number of cruise passengers who visit the island by limiting the number of the different kind of cruise ships that they allow to be in port all at the same time. And so the way that they are starting this off right now is that, as you know, in Santorini, you get off and you either have to take an excursion, which often involves a bus, to get up to the top of the caldera there of the island, or you have to take the cable car to get to the top. So what they are now doing, and I don't know if this is going to always be the remedy, but they are making it so that only 500 guests can be waiting at that lower dock at a time to take the cable car to the top. Once that limit is met, they are going to have the cruise ships who are there in the port that day stop their tendering operations until a bunch of the people get to the top. And so this is going to really slow down the tendering process, truly, because you're going to have to wait for that many people to get up and then resume tendering so that not so many people waiting. Here are some things I think we ought to think about this. Number one, in the long run, I can see that there are going to be fewer cruise ships calling there in Santorini for a lot of reasons. Number one, they've got that limit. They don't want so many coming. But also number two, I can see some of the cruise lines saying for some of their ships, you know what, we're just not going to do that there. We're going to find some other ports to use that we can either pull into a dock or that we can just easily let people off. They can go access the island or the locale that we're visiting, and we don't have to have that inconvenience and have guests waiting as long as they're going to be waiting with this situation in Santorini. The second thing that I think is going to happen is the prices for cruises that visit Santorini in the long run are going to go up because there are going to be fewer that actually go there. The third thing that I think that is going to happen is we're going to see I've been thinking about this. If we are going to see the cruise season extend a little bit for calls in Santorini. If you're new around here, we've got a Mediterranean cruise that we are going to go on. It's on Celebrity. It's round trip out of Athens, and we leave on October 11th. We have a stop in Santorini there, and we are there for a gloriously long day. We get there earlier in the morning. I can't remember if it's 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. and we're there clear until 10 p.m. at night. And so I think that we are going to see the season there extend a little bit, as well as pacing out the number of cruises that visit different places, because as you look at the whole cruise season, you see a few calls at the beginning in the springtime and a few calls in the end in the fall, like in your September, October, and as you head into November, but so many right at the height of the season. And I honestly think we're going to see those spread out a little bit as far as Santorini goes. And so Santorini is a very sought after port, and you're going to need to pay attention to the size of ship that you're going to visit there on and when you're going to be going. You can look up and see what other ships are going to be in port with you, and that will also give you a really good idea on how long it's going to take you to get off the ship. A really good tip, and I've given you this before, is when you go to Santorini, book an excursion. Book it for whatever time it is that you want to get off the ship. I think that's really valuable. They use a different water shuttle pier when you take an excursion. They'll take you over to the other pier, and then they've got buses that they bring down, and you get on the bus and go on your excursion from there. But you definitely get priority disembarkation off of the ship, and it's a separate port, like a separate like dock that they use to pull the water shuttles up there. So they're not going to count you right there getting on the buses, leaving on your excursion with the 500 that they allow to go on the cable car. Alrighty, if you've got questions about Santorini, let me know. I am blessed in that I have been there several times. So let me know what your questions are, and I will also keep my eye out for anything that you want to know about when we go in October. Alrighty, today we were in Eastport, Maine. This is a really big deal, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, I mentioned right off that this is Princess's first time visiting Eastport, Maine. This town here of Eastport, Maine is really very, 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 very small. It is situated in a spectacularly beautiful location. As we sailed in this morning, it was so beautiful. I was supposed to be getting ready, and I kept going out on the balcony and enjoying the view, did some videoing, and just soaked it all up. It's absolutely beautiful here. So it's a big deal. The second reason I want you to know that it's a big deal is traditionally only the very smaller ships get to come here. This is the first time that they have had a ship that is big enough that's had a water shuttle here. So this is maybe the beginning of a new era. And so it is something that is usually reserved for your fancier, like when you think of luxury cruising, true luxury cruising, those smaller ships. And so today we got to experience what people generally only get to experience on those smaller, fancier ships. So it was kind of special that way. Now, they offered a lot of different excursions, and because of that, or maybe because how welcoming the locals are, that's why they took care to offer so many different excursions. We had wonderful excursions. It was not like the excursions were somewhere ramping up to have cruise ships come. They knew what they were doing, and they did a really good job with it. And so they offered excursions, everything. We went over to see Campobello, which is Franklin Delano Roosevelt's summer home from when he was just a small child, clear through his presidency. Really big, really beautiful, and a really big deal to get to go there. There were whale watching excursions. There were excursions to take people and see wildlife, lobster fishing, so many different kinds of excursions here. So I'm going to tell you, and then the little towns, I'm going to tell you about our excursion. Highly recommend it. Even if you're not a history buff, this is a big deal. And then I'm going to tell you about walking around the town. So for our excursion, we actually went into Canada, and we had to come, of course, back through the border into the United States at the end of our excursion. So Campobello is located actually on an island that's like 9 miles long, and it is the first internationally run institution there that owns that land. And so there's so much history there, but basically back when we think of like the Gilded Age in the late 1800s, a lot of people came and built beautiful summer homes there. There were 3 huge big hotels there. It was very, very grand and very beautiful while retaining its rustic appeal and such a beautiful place. There's still forests, lots of woods and fields, places for people to get back to nature, for children to play, just a wonderful place to visit. But because once the Depression came along, a lot of the places were torn down. Fortunately, the home that was given to Franklin and Eleanor when they were married by his mother still stands, and they have kept it just like it was back in the time when the Roosevelts lived there. It is very beautifully preserved. They tell you the stories, they show you everything, as well as you get to see some of the other structures there that are on the island. They've got a nice visitor center there for you to visit and see everything, and then head out to the properties. And they took us to see a beautiful lighthouse and another beautiful viewpoint where you can look out and see just absolutely beautiful views. So I highly recommend that. And one thing that is so special about visiting Eastport is how welcoming the locals are. They actually want us to come. They want us to have a wonderful time. So during the course of that, we had a bus driver and we had a tour guide. And the bus driver still gave us a really good tour. She talked about everything, and then when she would drop us off somewhere, the tour guide would meet us. They both did an extraordinarily good job. They're local people. They know the stories. They know everything about this region. They were happy to answer questions. It was a really special day. And to top it off, we had the most beautiful day. Deep, deep blue skies, sunshine, gentle breeze, not hot, not cold, just absolutely beautiful. Now, so you're going to want to go there. You're going to want to go there because then when you get done, the way it works, let me tell you this. You get on the tender, you get over to the shore, they put you on another boat. It was a little whale watching boat. If they were running that kind of tour, they would have done that. They take us over to another location. It's called Lubec, Maine, and we get on the little shuttles that they take us on. Then we went over across the border into Canada, visited the area, and then they brought us back again, went through the US border back into the United States, and took a bridge over back to Lubec, Maine. It was absolutely, absolutely wonderful. I can't share with you how wonderful that was. But then when we got back to town again, after riding the boat back, we decided that we would go walk around. So here's a few tips about visiting Eastport. I think that honestly, the peak time for guests to want to head back to the ship is between noon and 2. We got here this morning officially. It was around 7 o'clock or so, 7:30, right in there. We got off the ship, our excursion. We were supposed to meet in the Capri Maine dining room at 8:45. And so when we got back at the end of our tour, which is about 1:30, 2 o'clock, somewhere right in there, the line to get on the tenders to head back to the ship was so long. One of the workers there at the port says the line to get back on the ship is 2 miles. And it really wasn't 2 miles, but it was extraordinarily long. So you might want to stagger your visit a little bit so that you either head back much earlier than that or later. It worked really well for us to go back later because we ended up walking around the little town area, which is really pretty small, but really enjoying our time. We finally just sat down on a bench and watched the harbor and gave it a little bit more time for the line to die down and for us to soak up the ambience of that sweet town. Another really good tip for you is if you want to have a lobster roll, lobster, whatever seafood that you want to have, you're going to want to be earlier. You are going to want to be there for an early lunchtime. Go like at 11, because by the time we were getting there, Waco, as they call it, it's spelled like Waco, W-A-C-O. It was the recommended place. They close at 2 o'clock. And then they open again for dinner time at 4. Now, our last tender ashore left at 5. And so you really kind of wouldn't have had time for that. There was another place up the hill, and so we checked there. They had run out of lobster earlier in the day. Then they got some more lobster. The line was like 45 minutes to an hour long, and they had very little lobster left, and they were going to run out way before it was our turn. And so we ended up not having any. There's some food trucks that are right by where you get off the tender. There was a place that was selling like barbecue things like brisket and that. Then there was a place that was selling like a coffee place. There was a place that was doing lobster things. But by the time we walked back over there to see like if we could get some lobster there, they were already closed. So they don't even stay open the whole time that you're in port. And I don't know if they would close because they ran out of food or if they closed because they were done. And so make sure if you want to enjoy some seafood that you head in early and do that first. And you might want to stagger. I don't know though about staggering your excursion to be able to do that. I know that ours was offered 2 times. And so you might want to take the later excursion that goes over to Campobello, and then you can come and eat some seafood and then go on your excursion from there. You can see how that would work. So that's what I've got for you. The other thing to know about Eastport is there are not a lot of eating places. And so there's not like you're going to choose from 10 different places. You're just going to see a few places. And there's a place that makes Monica's chocolates. And so I got a little box of those to try. But she apparently is very well known in Maine for the chocolates that she makes. They've also got a shop that sells a lot of specialty like pickles and mustard, things like that. So we got some of that to take home and let everybody try. And other than that, we just walked around and there were a few people selling things. We got a little bag of shortbread that a gentleman was selling. And it was just a pretty day to be out in the sunshine. So let me know if you've got questions about Eastport, Maine. I will add on, I was speaking with one of our Let's Go family members that's here with us, and she got to go on one of the lobster excursions, and she said it was spectacular. She said they showed them so many different kinds of fish. They showed them bringing up the lobster traps and everything. It had told them how they work, how they let the lobsters, you know, how they come into the lobster cages, and how the whole system works, how they can get out if they're too small, and how things work, you know, if somehow the lobster cage comes undone and gets lost, how the lobsters can still get out. And brought them up, showed them a lobster, and there were some little starfishes that were in the cage. So it sounds like every person that I've spoken with that had an excursion had a really good job. And in addition, on the little shop, several of the shops had a little sign up that said, "Welcome Enchanted Princess Passengers." So we were really happy to be here today, and it was a really lovely experience. So if Eastport is showing up on your itinerary and you're worried about it, don't be worried. Just embrace it and have a wonderful day. I want to add a quick note about how everything is going on the Enchanted Princess with the Love Boat Cruise and everything. It is going splendidly. We've seen some of the original cast around the ship, and just said hi as we were walking by. I don't want to stop them or anything, but that's been kind of fun. The entertainment has been superb. Pinnacle is the group that is playing in the piazza, usually a couple times every evening. They are just absolutely unparalleled. They are that good. Absolutely wonderful. Tonight we've got an 80s dance party up on the like the Lido deck up there by the pool and everything. So we're gonna go to that. They're going to be playing up there this evening. Air Supply is going to be playing this evening. Like, how do you match that? I don't know. So that's going on, and just everything on the ship is going really well. You always think of the good, you think of the bad. It's really hard to think of anything that wouldn't be really great on this ship. I think that the only thing I noticed in the piazza, there are lots of the crew members there taking your orders for drinks every evening, coming around asking what you want. I noticed that they're quite busy over at the little ice cream place, the gelato place, for those desserts. It's just really fun to be here. People that have eaten at O'Malley's and Gigi's say that it's really good. I've heard that the wait at Rudy's can be kind of long. A couple of our Let's Go family members went for dinner. Their dinner appointment was at 7:30, and they walked at 10 o'clock out finally. Took that long to get their food. And so I'm thinking that there's going to be some delays. Other people have gone and eaten right on time. Another Let's Go family member, couple in our group, said that they went, their dinner appointment was at 7. They asked them to please come back at 7:30. And so I think maybe, if I had to guess, we've got a very full ship and they're rolling out that new program where you have the unlimited specialty dining. So I'm wondering if they're a little bit swamped there, but I'll keep asking around this week and letting you know how everything goes. And lots of people have been able to make the reservations for the unlimited specialty dining. So I think things are going to be good. And so just thought I would tell you what things are looking like. And wish you all were here with us. I really wish you all were here with us. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit that subscribe button. And if you appreciate my updates, would you please give this video a thumbs up? Thank you so very much, and I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you.